Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Skymetal Iron Gods. This is Chapter 2, The Lords of Rust, Part 4. And in just a couple of moments, I will turn things over to our Dungeon Master, Vi, who will take us into this world of Skymetal. First, a couple of quick announcements. Hey everybody, how's it going? It's been a minute. When I went to push the stream button, I realized it had been 12 days since we last streamed. There's been a lot going on, and 12 days feels like an eternity, but we're back. And we've had a couple things change in the schedule or that are priming to change as we head into the coming months and into the new year, which seems so weird to be talking about the new year, but we're literally 2 days away from the end of October. But speaking of Halloween, which happens to fall on a Thursday, that is the same day as Welcome to Paradise, Michigan, Season 2, Welcome to Paradise Academy. That is our regular Thursday campaign, and we are planning on streaming. You may even see some of us in costume that may or may not have anything to do with the characters of the game. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But if you like different system than D&D, it's the Kids on Bikes RPG and things with a bit of a retro feel and a bit of a Stranger Things Goonies, a little bit of WTF is going on. Then this game is for you. And we hope that you'll check it out. You can check out all 65 episodes. I believe there's 65 total episodes that are available on YouTube at youtube.com/mini terrain domain, as are all of our VODs. So you can check that out there. We recently had our finale, episode 104 of Scribes and Scrolls. It started out as a D&D campaign, then it turned into a Pathfinder 2 game, and we wrapped it up after what wound up actually being 115 actual episodes, 104 main story episodes. And I figured out that it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 hours of gameplay over the course of 3.5 years. Only the second full campaign that I wrapped up on MTD. It's such a good feeling. And M was there for both of them. M has been a part of both full campaigns. But do not despair, because Monday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, at a date still to be determined, will be 7 Dooms for Sandpoint. And you've been hearing me talk about this for a while, but I can tell you, and Vi and Kaeryn can attest to this, as they will be players in that campaign. There is now officially an intro title sequence. Unlike any sequence we've had for MTD, this one's unique in a very special way that I can't wait to share with everybody. The only reason we haven't started yet is entirely on me. As I see top of the stream when I talked about busyness and stuff like that, but we will make that happen soon. Of course, you're here with us this Tuesday for Skymetal Iron Gods, and on alternate Tuesdays will be our new Scavenger campaign, which is dungeon mastered by Marquise, one of the creators and author of the Scavenger 5e books. Absolutely incredible Scavenger and the Crimson Catalyst. And he will be running the game for myself and Lloyd. You can actually go to youtube.com/mini terrain domain and check out the VOD for our Session 0 Humberby, which was a sort of a meta in-game ritual, but also for us, the players, way to choose what characters we were playing. And it was very unique and very cool, and I highly recommend you check that out. It's a little over an hour. And that'll get you set up for when we continue that game. quick teaser for two things that are coming up. One, we have coming up in the month of November a 3-part Aether Nexus trilogy that is officially sponsored by Absolute Tabletop. I let Jeremy and Kaeryn pave the way. Um, and they played an incredible trilogy over on Erasmus Expeditions. And now it's time for Vi and Sara and a handful of others to join me as we tell some stories in this new setting from Absolute Tabletop. So stay tuned. We'll have the dates announcement on that real soon. Um, and then our day for the next Legends of Eleonora charity stream with Todd Stashwick and guests is December 7th. That is a Saturday, and it will be happening a little bit earlier. I think we're looking at somewhere around 7 p.m. Eastern start time for that. Those typically go for 4 or 5 hours as we attempt to raise over $50,000 for Pavlov Foundation, benefiting research for childhood cancer. The celebrity players have been chosen. They and I do apologize because I don't have their names directly in front of me. As I try to find them, but I can tell you what characters they play. It's an all Star Trek cast. I just randomly turned to the page. Anson, I can't remember his last name. I can't read my handwriting, but he plays Pike in Strange New Worlds. Also, the one who plays Uhura in Strange New Worlds, and Ed Spalier plays Jack Crusher, and none other than Gates McFadden. Everybody's Will Wheaton, Space Mom, Dr. Beverly Crusher will be joining us. So we are super stoked about that. We had Jonathan Frakes last time. We get Gates McFadden this time. And of course, the inimitable um, Todd Stashwick as the dungeon master running in his unique setting. We'll have more information on that, but I digress. I want to tell you before we leave, or not leave, before I turn it over to Vi. I don't know why I said before we leave. I want to, one, let you know, remind you that by way of content warning, we are adults playing characters in a fantasy setting. We are, well, you may occasionally hear adult language, graphic depictions of violence, intense role playing situations. If any of that is something that bothers you, then feel free to leave. You won't be upset if you take care of yourself by going somewhere else. But do know that we have had session zeros. We have safety tools in place. We've established lines and veils so that we can ensure that everybody has a fun and safe time at our virtual table. We encourage you to use safety tools and session zeros in your own games. They're just incredible tools to make sure that everybody's on the same page, everybody's having fun, and more importantly, that everybody stays safe. There's a link in the chat where you can check out some of the safety tools that we use on the Tabletop RPG Safety Toolkit link. The final thing I want to tell you is you matter. Your presence on this earth makes a difference, whether you believe it or not. It is true. There are any number of reasons why you might be struggling, but do know you don't have to struggle. You don't have to wonder where to find help. We've made it as simple as we can. Simply type !help in the chat, and a couple of links will pop up. You can check out findahelpline.com or the growing list of resources at takethis.org. We encourage you to check out those websites, bookmark them, save them for yourself, save them for a friend, and remember, you matter. With that, I would like to turn things over to our Game Master, Vi.
Thanks, Jake. We return to Skymetal, here in the free city of Hajath Hakados, this veritable fortress city built onto the riverbank of the Selin River that courses through the southern edge of Numeria. You've made your way here on riverboat, facing trials and tribulations on your way. You saw the ruined village of Aldernod's Rest, where you had encountered the lingering spirit of a rat folk. You had encountered a obstacle, a checkpoint, a fortress on your way down the river that was manned by the Technic League itself, confiscating any Skymetal artifacts that you had in your possession. You declined to submit to them, and in the ensuing battle, as you fled, Zaari made a noble sacrifice. She left the party behind, giving them time to escape down the river on their boat. But instead, as a cost and consequence of doing so, she has been captured by her enemies, the Technic League. One fewer in number, you continued on your way. Continued on your way downriver to the free city of Hajath Hakados. You had in your company the peddler, a Goliath, similar to Zaari herself, but way less competent in battle and way more chatty upon arriving in this massive city. The peddler and you split ways, saying that he'll put in the good word with his friends and his connections about you saving him and guarding him as he went down the river with you. But here you have arrived to the free city of Hajath Hakados, where the hustle and bustle of this great fortress city surrounds you. The culture of this place is completely unmissable. There is great towering buildings of wood and stone, warriors alike that march down the streetways, a busy dock that you have disembarked onto, the shadow of a wyvern flying high above the city. You can see the trophies and grisly trophies of the free city's past foes, that mostly of robots and constructs employed by the Technic League themselves. This is how the free city got its name. It does not fall under the banner of the Technic League like the rest of Numeria does, but it fought for its independence and has stood as an independent city ever since. And as such, the people of Hajath Hakados are proud, and this pride is palpable as you step your way through the streets. Here, you have just decided to disembark to rest a bit in the comforts of civilization. You see before you, as people push past you in the busy dock district here in the city, the open, inviting door of the Wyvern's Roost, and in a tavern that seems to cater to travelers and adventurers alike. But there are many places in this free city, many places for you to be parted with your coin, if you so wish to do. The camera turns upon the three of you, four including Meanda, who is in your party. Daeralei, Veris, and Yrsimagor. What do the three of you do now that you've arrived in the free city of Hajath Hakados? What is your priority here? What do you wish to do?
I think that Veris is. You can tell he is loving this and just taking everything in. I assume it is a very busy, bustling with people. I imagine Veris very quickly gets underfoot as he's distractedly just um, taken aback by everything, all of the sights. Looking around, I imagine someone almost steps on him and he kind of sidesteps um, over. And I imagine Yrsimagor is maybe walking up and he says, Yrsimagor, have you ever seen something a city so magnificent, so you can just feel the difference in the air of the people here. They just seem so much happier. I imagine as you hear like swearing and haggling and the day-to-day muck of people, but in Varys's eyes this is the ideal.
I feel like Varys's path is probably uninterrupted as he maneuvers through the crowds and in the throng of people as we make our way into the tavern, but only because, and maybe he doesn't realize it, because Yrsimagor is cutting an imposing figure. People just seem to naturally be parting out of the way for the most part. As I just kind of grunt down at you, there's entirely too many people here.
Don't have such a dour face, Yrsimagor. This will be fun. We can buy some things, maybe some new shiny weapons.
Now you're talking my language.
And I think Veris would also, keep an eye and make sure that, everyone is kind of following in this sea of people.
Yeah, Daeralei is definitely following along, looking completely unamused about the amount of people and where we are and what we're doing, but just letting Veris enjoy. So he's not going to say anything. Not going to ruin the mood for Veris here. Just follow along, keeping a pretty good eye out on Meenda. Both from like distrust that she may try to bolt, but also caution because weird things have been happening the last few days, so who knows, like it's kind of keeping an eye out also for her safety as well.
Yeah, perfect. Amanda does not seem inclined to break tail and flee here. She follows along the group with you. To the tavern you go then, as Yrsimagor pushes past people. You see a dark tavern as you step inside. It is loud. It smells a bit, both of alcohol, well-traveled people. You see that patrons of this tavern are similar to you. They are world-weary, seasoned adventurers of every ilk and make. There aren't many in number, perhaps a dozen or so. Some boisterous and loud and having an argument, and others that are quiet and observant in the corners, in the darker, shadowed corners of this place. But a thing of note that Daeralei especially would take note of is the tavern keep herself. She is a tall being, a tall humanoid. Her skin ash gray in color. She bears no hair upon her head, but her skull is a bit oblong in shape. But what you see most of note is that she wields 4 arms. She uses these 4 arms proficiently, grabbing tankards and filling them up and washing and wiping down the counter. But you see that she doesn't appear to be almost at home at a tavern's head. Her arms are muscled, her face is scarred. She has barbarian tattoos that weave all along her neck, her arms, her shoulders. She wears a high-collared top, and she wears around her neck something that catches your eye. It is a key card, one that you have in your possession that you used to open areas of the strange complex beneath Torch. She wears one around her neck. It is punctured through the center and blue and striped, unlike the white, black, red, and brown ones that you have in your possession. But otherwise, she seems to be keeping the guests both occupied and also making sure that there's nothing too rowdy happening. She has an eye constantly watching the rowdier patrons in her establishment. But as you enter, she will lock eyes with you, Yrsimagor, give you a small nod, and then continue about her business, recognizing that you've entered her place, but giving you no obligation to be, to have the center stage on you. How do you react to seeing this place?
I think that I am withholding my full reaction until after I've warmed my belly with ale and spirits, and I will, seeing that this bartender has acknowledged me, I will hold her gaze, and I will go ahead and order. I'll take 3 of your largest mugs of ale and 3 glasses of your strongest whiskey.
She gives a swift nod, a bit of a grin, seeing just as tall of a being as her. She's almost 7 feet in height, and I imagine you approach that too in height. And she gives you a bit of a knowing smile, and within a few moments, she'll place, using all 4 of her hands, all 6 of these drinks that you've paid for.
As she places the drinks out, I will place whatever coin is required on the table or on the counter.
Mm-hmm.
And
up closer, Yrsimagor, you can get the sense that this woman, she's faced dozens and dozens of battles. She has scars on her arms and on her hands and on her fingers and on her face, and in ways that would mirror your own, ones that you only get from swords and arrows and axes on the field of battle. She's definitely a retired warrior. You can get that sense.
I imagine sort of I see this shot like as she's pouring the ales and the whiskey. You kind of see Yrsimagor's POV as he's looking at these the scars that he can see across the arms or the shoulders, maybe creeping up along one side of the neck from under the collar. More just kind of like checking out somebody's tattoos, not leering at her in any particular way, but I imagine as the POV shifts up to as she turns and looks at me to hand me the drinks, just kind of giving her that appreciative, that look of the head nod and a little bit of a approving sound, I guess, but not really engaging too much. And then I will take the drinks and I will turn immediately to, if they're still near me, to Daeralei and Veris, and if not, I will find them, and I will hand them each a mug and a glass. I will hold up the glass. This is for Zaari. Wherever she is. And then I will just throw it back in one.
To Zaari. And Daeralei would drink it as well.
To Zaari. Veris will not throw it back in one swig. He will take a few. Probably sputtering and coughing.
I feel like where I've got this glass in my big hand, Veris, I just see like holding onto the same glass with two hands, and
Yes.
and then I will see if we can find ourselves a place to sit for a spell while we figure out what we're going to do.
Yeah, you find a booth that's shadowed a bit and private enough for you to just be able to talk between yourselves with relative privacy here in the Wyvern's Roost.
So, does anyone have any plans of what they would like to do here?
If you remember, I didn't want to come here in the first place.
Well, yes,
Not that I'm begrudging any of the fact that we're here. Other than if we didn't come here, Zaari might still be with us.
You see, like, Veris's ears kind of lay back. So I feel like Veris does see that he really pushed to come here. And I think Yrsimagor saying that kind of fills him with a little bit of guilt. I do think that we could find some information, and we could stock up before we really, sink our teeth into. Sorry, what is the name of the place we're going to again? Scrapwall?
Scrapwall.
Yeah. Before we get to Scrapwall. And he looks to Daeralei.
I too believe it is important that we stock up, get prepared, get the things we need before we head to Scrapwall. We know Scrapwall is not going to be very pleasant for us. And she looks at Yrsimagor for that, because this is, imagine, like, be a tough place where we know we're going to get into conflict there. So anything that we're can prepare for ahead of time is useful.
Would
And
probably
I think
be.
seeing. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it would probably be a good idea if we can find some more of those healing potions.
I agree.
Yes, absolutely. We need to stock up on everything that we can.
And on that, Yrsimagor, we need to know, I don't know, what some of the things that you have experienced, what you knew of these lords, so that we know maybe what a weakness may be, so that we can exploit it when we're there.
Well, I admit that in an area I have some experience with, there is perhaps a better source of information, and I will eye Amanda, who, in hindsight, I'm realizing I neglected when I ordered 3, but I'm standing by that. That was something for us, not for my Amanda. I take that back. If you'll allow, I would like to retcon. I got the fire whiskeys only for the 4 of us, or the 3 of us, but I would have gotten Amanda an ale.
Yeah, Amanda would appear to like not be drinking too much of it. She gave a sip and very visibly did not like the taste of it, and kind of has been like sitting like almost like swirling it at the table, head down, definitely not talking until spoken to. When you kind of prompt, well, there's someone better to speak of this. She looks up
I would
from
kick her
the
chair.
ripples.
I would
Yeah.
kick her chair to like get her attention as I say that. Not violently, just like, hey, I'm talking to you. I'm talking about you.
She looks up. What is it that you want to know?
Hold on. I'm trying to find information on my character sheet on somebody else's character. I only know what I saw when Golgara became a Lord of Acid. I'm sorry. I almost said a Lord of Acid, which is it's like a 90s.
A Lord of Ass. Yeah.
I realized also that that's where I stopped saying Lord of Acid, so there's a whole bunch of faux pas going on here. Lords of Acid is a 90s industrial techno band. That is not what I meant. Lords of Rust. I didn't stick around long enough to find out what went on beyond your unwavering devotion to Helion.
Well, there are 5 Lords of Rust, if you count myself. Your sister, Yrsimagor, is one of them. Golgara, Lord of Rust. There is the Red Ghost herself. The only one, the most powerful of them all. And some say even the first Lord of Rust. The one closest to Hellion. Then, of course, there is Helskarg, a four-armed troll matriarch who has pledged herself to Hellion. And Marrow. Well, Marrow, as his name suggests, he is not. He's a more of a grim sort. I found him a bit too unwieldy. He is, I would call him crazed. Those who are a bit more favorable to him would call him impassioned, eccentric. He's devoted to the art of necromancy. These are the chosen favored of Hellion himself. They are the ones to enact his will here in the world. And then she kind of like gives a look of like, anything else you want to know?
Good at.
You cut out for the first half of that sentence. What did you say?
What are they each good at?
Kolgara and Helskargar. They demand attention. They lead from the front. They demand subjugation. They are generals through and through. They command the legions of Hellion from the front. They are the best warriors. They are bold. They are unyielding and undying. Marrow, well, he's a bit more secluded, a bit more busy with his work. He is. He's been tasked with building Hellion, an army that will never yield. Something that, well, Kolgara finds a bit offensive. And of course, there's the Red Ghost. She is, well, a mystery to most. There's only few that have ever interacted with her, myself included, among those few. She is terrifying. She is glorious, and she's the closest confidant to Hellion. She works from the shadows. And she is subtle and hidden.
Are they all located at Scrapwall?
Yes.
Only you were sent away?
I was sent away with a small cohort of forces to capture the energy source beneath Torch. With my failure, I imagine another cohort of forces will be sent.
And how do they fare with the Technic League?
Well, we've lived and let live for the most part. The Technic League has no interest in Scrapwall ever since they were expelled from Scrapwall itself 30 years ago. They've written it off as a lost cause. They don't know about the great powers that build and brood beneath its surface. They had scoured the ruins of Scrapwall and found nothing of interest, and were ran off by a rebellion. And Veris, you would know of this rebellion. That's the rebellion that your father fought in to kick out the Technic League out of Scrapwall.
Yeah, I think Veris would pipe up at that. Does Veris know anything more about that particular fight? Like, considering that his father was a part of it?
Yeah, you would know that the Scrapwall Rebellion was a unique moment in history where Scrapwall, before the Technic League takeover, was full of like squabbles between various family clans. But they all banded together and organized to expel the Technic League in an overnight rebellion. It was bloody on both sides, but you were able to secure and kick them out. And since then, Scrapwall has been a bit more of a unified, a more cohesive identity, which you fear, or which you had noticed when you were forced to flee Scrapwall, is kind of being taken advantage of by the Lords of Rust, being able to divide them from within by taking the key figures of Scrapwall, or the ones that would, by taking over, I mean both like converting in a sense and also like dispatching. You know that a lot of like brutal assassinations had taken place, and also that high profile individuals had been promoted, so to speak, to the title of Lord of Rust. That being Kulgara and Helskarg, notably. Helskarg was a once revered authority figure in Scrapwall. She was a troll mother who lost all of her sons in the Technic, or in the Scrapwall Rebellion, but still she persists. And
Okay, so
she was converted over to the Lords of Rust pretty early on in the takeover of the cult.
right, so these Lords of Rust, so Scrapwall was made out of like families,
Yes.
and then there was the rebellion, and then the Lords of Rust kind of swooped in
Mm-hmm.
and kind of quickly took over.
Yep. Decapitated families, metaphorically speaking, or grabbing
Sometimes
key figureheads. Yeah. Sometimes literally. Yeah.
Okay.
And you fled as things became a bit dire.
Right. So yeah, Veris is going to I do have a concern that the families at Scrapwall are fiercely loyal. Well, those that are left are fiercely loyal to those Lords of Rust, and I just don't know if we will have many friends in Scrapwall. Or many that we can trust. I certainly didn't when I fled.
So we need to be careful how we go about things when we get towards Scrapwell.
Yes, we can't just go around saying we're here to get those Lords of Rust to, really stick it to them. I don't think that would be met with a lot of welcome, you might say. So it is probably best that we all, and I think at that, I think Veris looks particularly to Yrsimagor, that we all keep it a relatively low profile, though I'm sure with some of our relations that we currently have that might be a little bit more difficult, I'm sure people will know as soon as you step foot. I'm just saying we have to be ready for anything, and friends do not really exist in Scrapwall, unfortunately.
I put a heavy hand on top of Veris's head and just kind of ruffle the fur between his ears. That's not entirely true.
You see Veris just kind of like his whiskers like twitch and like a bit of a grin. Yes, well, we got out, which I think says a lot to, and I think anyone else who had their wits about them got out as well.
Well,
So we're basically walking into the Viper's Den. Viper Pit, Lion's Den, whatever.
We also have to think of the option that, maybe they already know that we are going to be there. I'm sure there are spies and informants everywhere.
I
see
wonder if
Veris-
our...
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. I wonder if our trip to... sorry, this name is Hajath Hakados maybe has confused them. This is entirely the opposite direction that they would have assumed we would go.
Yes, precisely. And I do, however, think that we do need to keep our wits about us here. Maybe not let our actions be very be known. I suppose you could say. Things we're buying. And he's like looking around. You see Veris, and he's like, he does the thing that rats do where they just like take their paws and just like wring them over again and kind of like preen his whiskers a little bit. I just don't want him to know what we're stocking up on, that we ourselves are getting ready for a fight. Does he notice anything, Veris, like as he's kind of looking around?
In the tavern here?
Mm-hmm. You said we were kind of a little ways away, or we could get to a spot a little ways away, but does he notice anything?
What you would notice is that, I mean, nothing of particular note at first, just patrons being patrons. And then all of a sudden something gets quite heated quite nearby. A figure steps a few steps back, being pushed this way by two tall, brawny adventurers. This figure's rear bumps into the table of your table, kind of knocking your drinks, not like completely, off, just like it bumping everything. Sara, what kind of predicament has Toy gotten herself into here? Go ahead
Oh
and
my.
describe both your character and her situation, her predicament.
Oh no. So Toy is a tiefling with surprisingly the only thing that you can really tell makes her a tiefling are the ram-like horns that protrude from her head. Otherwise she has, this sun-kissed skin. She's all freckled and she's got these big doe eyes. And she's covered in leather armor and she's got these little chains that dangle on her horns. And as she's knocked into the table, the chains kind of tangle up on the piercings in her ears and the cuffs on her ears. And you just hear her go, boys, it's okay. I will give you the money. It's fine. And she's kind of like reaching into what looks like a pouch. And I think what she does is she kind of looks over her shoulder, and depending on who is over her left shoulder, she has this wide grin, and like her canines are a little bit more elongated than normal, so her canine kind of hooks into her lower lip as she grins, and she winks at that person. I will let you guys choose who's there.
So who gets winked at?
Oh, I would love to be winked at.
You
All
can
right.
wink at.
I think that the reaction you get back is just one raised eyebrow. But there's no stopping. More of a I am very curious to see what you're going to do in this moment. So my curiosity has been piqued. We'll watch this show play out.
I think what she's going to do is
A finger gets jabbed into your chest, Toy. You said that every time now. 50 gold you owe us. 50 gold.
yes, but have you gotten me what I need? No. So let's just bump that down to 20. You haven't gotten me anything that I need.
We said we couldn't find it. The place was crawling, absolutely crawling with undead. You owe us.
You are such a bitch. Do I really have to lead you? Like, I shouldn't have to do that, but I suppose when you have to do something, you have to do it yourself and not hire help. And she'll pull out 20 gold and she'll toss a bag at him and be like, take it.
The second one catches it, like fumbling, and like weighs it, and like little something small gets ushered. And then like a grunt, like 30. It owes the rest of the 30. And then they step back, giving you a bit of space.
And I think she just kind of like waves at them and gets herself a couple inches away from the table and starts dusting herself off. All right, you can leave now.
And the two people who've accosted you have left, leaving you at this table.
When she turns to the table, she's still got that really big grin on her face, and she does a very relaxed bow. Like, it's done more on principle than her actually respecting anyone at the table. And she's just gonna, when she brings herself back up, she's gonna be like, I apologize for that. You all shouldn't have seen that. It's hard to find good help these days.
Why do I have this feeling that that entire situation was engineered for our benefit?
Surely don't know what you mean.
Mhm. Of all the tables in this place, you had to bump into ours.
I was just at that one over there, so...
Mhm. You're far too, how do I put it, pleased with yourself.
I'm not exactly pleased with myself. I lost out on 20 gold.
Saw
Insight
you lift
check.
that from somebody else.
I am good with my hands.
So again,
You get a raised
I-
eyebrow from your Yrsimagor. Insight check, but I also got a 7, so.
I saw that. That was beautiful.
so who do we have the pleasure of addressing?
Oh, you can call me. And there's this, like, a bit of a flourish as she, gestures to herself. You can call me Toy. It's what I'm known around here.
Oh, did you want us to call you that now?
Well, it is my name. So, yes.
Well, Toy. And I think Daeralei would kick out one of the empty chairs that's at our table. Just kind of kick it out so that it's more where you could get into it. Do tell us what that was all about. And I'll push my glass of ale that I'd been kind of not actually partaking from after the shot that we had. So just kind of nods to the chair.
You see her as she actually, like, flips the chair so the back of the chair is, like, against the table so she can lean on it. I just have a few things that I need looked into. Though, I probably should have done it, because apparently there's a lot of undead there.
I think Daeralai's just staring at you with their void-filled eyes, just kind of waiting for you to keep going.
I'm searching for a couple people, that's all. People I've lost. Kind of like how you lose a gold piece. And you'd really like to get that gold piece back.
So you're saying you've misplaced a person.
Well, 3 persons. Families are weird.
You're missing your family.
Yes.
Mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, kids, husband, wife.
Oh, gods, I'm not old enough for children. Ugh. No, Mother was killed. I have rumors that my father is somewhere. And the only reason that I'm looking for him is, and she actually pulls out a dagger and starts kind of flipping it between her fingers. Sentimental purposes. And I am actually searching for my brother and my sister. So.
Well, good luck.
I think she looks at Daeralei with that. Like, what just happened?
I'll actually
wished you
leave the
good
table.
luck.
I'll actually leave the table as I say good luck. And I'm heading up to the bar. Get more ale.
I mean,
You have to excuse our friend. He's abrupt. I think that's the word that you would use for it.
I
Yes.
would call it purely. He is very. I mean, abrupt works, but he's also very open. He wished you good luck. He
I
means
like
nothing
that.
more than he wishes you good luck.
I think
Oh, that's
as
nice.
you say that about Yrsimagor being very abrupt and open, you cut real quick to me heading up to the bar, setting my empty ale mug down, looking at the bartender, and just saying, "I like your scars."
She grins, thanks. Wanna know how I got this one?
And then I'll tell you how I got this one.
And I think that she'll like lean, an arm down on the counter, and she's like showing off like all these different like scars, whatever. And she'll have a story for each one of these. Like, oh, this is when, you know, I was trying to hunt down a wyvern and the thing gnashed a claw on me, or this is when I was, uh, uh, charging down, 100 men at my back and into the fray, and I barely got out of that one alive. And this one is me when I was. This one is when I was 11 years old and I tangled with a serpapard. And you should see the other guy, kind of stories. Just kind of imagine just sharing these stories back and forth.
For what it's worth, while we cut back to the table and what's going on, this whole interaction, just for fun, I rolled charisma. I have a -1 and I rolled a nat 1. So Yrsimagor does not have game with this.
He does not
bartender.
have the riz.
So I will say that she's way less enthusiastic than how I had described. That's how you probably imagined it happening in your head, or like what you're fantasizing and happening. And I imagine you go up and go as you like point to like a neck scar, and she just like looks at you like, "Can I help you?" kind of look as you fail to riz up the baddie. We cut back to the table, with Yrsimagor gone and failing to get much more than a tankard of ale.
It costs him like double the usual amount.
Yeah.
Well, there goes my plans for tonight.
When did you misplace them?
Oh, You watch her start counting on her fingers. Oh, when did Mother die? Oh, I was still very little when they left. I'm much younger than they are.
So is it you misplaced them or they misplaced you?
say I misplaced them. But they had already left, before our mother had died. So
how do you even know they are alive?
I hear things.
How do you even know they want you to find them?
I don't.
And yet you look.
I do.
Interesting. You've spent your entire life looking?
No. No. I spent most of my life surviving.
Veris has clearly missed the social cue that is happening here with like this stare down and animosity kind of happening, just with like the suspicion from Daeralei. Because I imagine they're like looking at each other, and then Veris just comes in and just, hi, I don't think I've introduced myself. I'm Veris. It's very nice to meet you. He like holds out his hand, his little paw to Toy.
She will very much reach over. She has not touched the mug of ale that has been passed to her, and she kind of like with a knee on the seat of the chair that she's been given, she pulls herself up so she can shake Varys's hand. A pleasure. As I said, I'm Toy.
Well, it's very lovely to meet you. We have just come here to this wonderful free city ourselves, and I have to say it is quite spectacular here. We are very much looking forward to spending some time here and getting to know the city. Do you know it well?
Oh, I do, yes.
Oh, that's fantastic, he says as he looks to Daeralei as though this is like really good news.
I think Daeralei just raises the other eyebrow. It's like, what? But do, please carry on.
I mean, I am very sorry to hear about your family, and maybe we can hear a little bit more, but we would very much appreciate maybe a bit of a hand getting around the city, knowing where to go to. We have a few errands to run, and you seem, and he looks like behind you to the two men that you had just been dealing with. You seem quite able to fend for yourself. You know, have that what's the word? Street smarts, he says.
I do have street smarts, yes. I have, as I said before, I'm very good with my hands. So. Are you saying you want a tour guide?
Well, I mean, not a tour guide per se, unless, you know, that's something that you do in your pastime. There's nothing against that. I have nothing to say about tour guides. I'm sure that they are all very, very lovely. No, we are more looking for, how do I put this? We're looking for supplies, and maybe someone,
Okay.
as yourself, you say you know the city well, maybe know where we can get some of these supplies.
That depends on what kind of supplies you want. Do you want your run-of-the-mill supplies, such as, from a general store or a magic item shop, an apothecary? Or do you want something that you're not going to be able to find very easily, that I would have to go underground for?
You see Veris's like ears kind of twitch, and he looks to Daeralei, and then he looks back and, oh, I mean both. I mean, we're upstanding adventurers, but I mean even adventurers need the odd knick-knack item that maybe you wouldn't necessarily be able to find at your around the corner pharmacy shop or apothecary or anything like that. Maybe you need something a little bit more specific, he says.
All right. I can do that for you. Could you do something for me then?
Well, I mean, of course, if you're going to help us like this, we would be more than happy to help you.
Perfect, perfect. I need to find myself a way to scrap wall. The journey by oneself is not exactly the safest route. Maybe I could hitch a ride with the lot of you.
Hire bodyguards.
I don't feel like hiring bodyguards.
You see, like, Veris look over to Daeralei, like, very... Because they seem to have gotten so upset with him the last time he invited someone to come with them on their on their trip. And he really didn't understand why. That was a really nice merchant that they had met. So he's going to go with his gut again, and say, well, it just so happens that we ourselves are on our way to Scrapwell. Wouldn't luck have it? Hey, Daeralei, he says as he, like, nudges.
Daeralei gets the coughs trying to get you to.
This feels like that moment in Lord of the Rings when Frodo and Aragorn realize that
Yes.
Frodo Baggins, he's right over there.
Yeah.
Oh, Scrapwall, weren't you just saying how we needed to keep quiet about it? And
I think this is when Yrsimagor comes back dejected with his mug of ale, and he just hears Veris go, "Oh, Scrapwall? That's where we're headed." As you come to the table.
just roll my eyes and sit down heavily with a bit of a dejected look on my face.
Listen, I like to think that Veris is very, like, he's very intelligent, but he's not very wise. So he...
Yes. I love this.
So he knows technically the right things to do and the right ways to go about this, but when presented with the situation, that all
just
goes
goes
out the
by.
window. Yep.
Yeah. I think when Yrsimagor comes back to the table and he looks very dejected, she kind of like leans over to him and she goes, I have tried to get in her bed so many times. I don't know what it is. It's like she's got some sort of like weird spell or something that just will not allow her to do it. Think about what those 4 arms can do.
I think as you say that, Yrsimagor just kind of stares at his mug for a second and just goes, I literally just dumped my drink down my front.
That face!
I just rolled a 1 on drinking. Good lord. And then I look at Toy and I kind of, oh, you're still here.
I am.
Yes, Yrsimagor, I have the best news. I knew I had a really
Yes,
good
I
feeling
heard.
about this one. Well, yeah.
I think
Right.
everybody heard.
He looks back. He looks around at the bar.
In the nearby radius that is able to hear you, when you say Scrapwall, like everyone's like gone quiet and kind of like looking at you, going like, "What? Scrapwall?"
The record squeals.
Yeah.
You're right. Scrapwall is a place we should avoid.
Oh, yes. Yes, avoid it at all costs.
The din continues as you throw them the diversion there, as you get a sense of privacy again.
So, do we have a plan? Where are we going next?
Currently, we're escorting this one to Scrapwall for free.
I didn't say for free. I mean, I can very much fight. And if you need any sort of information, I can probably get you information.
Given that we just got here, I was more talking about, do we know where we're going next after we're done drinking?
Your
This
little
one.
furry friend wanted to go shopping.
Yeah, he does that.
Veris is bristling with excitement.
How late in the day is it right now?
It's like mid-afternoon. You have like a few hours of shopping left if you were to head out, but
Yeah, I imagine Veris is like primed and ready to go right now.
I am interested in trying to find some sort of ranged weapon.
Do you have an idea of what kind of ranged weapon you would like?
Preferably something I can throw. Though I'm pretty good with a bow, too.
So are you thinking maybe like, and you actually watch her as she like, just like, she puts her hand like this and she makes it look like she's putting like a ball in her hand and then she kind of swings her hand and throws it. So something like a sling, maybe? You can throw big rocks.
Do I look like an orc child?
Well, no, but that was just the first thing that popped into my head. You said you wanted something to throw. Well, those are something that you throw.
I was
There's
thinking more like
javelins.
javelins or spears. Maybe
Oh.
a good longbow. Maybe both.
Well, both would be nice.
I want to throw rocks. When I need to throw something like a rock or a boulder, and I just hold up both of my fists. I imagine
yeah.
themselves are quite scarred.
Oh, yes. I can see that you can throw things.
We'll need healing potions.
Mhm.
Not me, per se.
Do you need poisons? Any type of elixirs?
Are you a
Veris
merchant
nods.
in town?
I am not a merchant, but I do know most of the merchants in town.
Do you know Uranus?
Well, let's see. Would I know?
You do know Aranus.
Yay!
Aranus is a half-elf that's, well, he tried once to sell you something, realized that you are definitely not his prime demographic for it, and has not bothered you since. He is an Orumvarax breeder. He has, they're colloquially called golden ermelines. These strange badger-like creatures with golden fur. He has a few of them in cages that he's trying to sell. But you're not interested in a furry companion, so definitely not one that is as costly and niche of needs as an Rumvarax. And they're too pricey for you.
We already
anyways.
have a furry
I know.
companion.
Oh, yes, I do. Very, very pretty. His animal. The very pretty golden. And you just, like, she doesn't know the name of it. Like, I imagine, like, she's only heard the name a couple times. And so she doesn't actually know the name of it. So she's just like, it's gold and it's very expensive. He only approached me once, but I think that's because, you know, I don't exactly look like I could afford a lot. But I say hi to him from time to time.
Right. Well, I glance back at the bartender. As I finish off the last of my second ale, I see no reason to stick around here.
Well then,
Right, let's go.
where do you want to go first? Do you want to see your friend? And she actually points to Daeralei.
You're pointing to me. Are you talking to Veris and pointing to me, or talking to me and pointing to me?
She said, "Do you want to see your friend?" And she's looking and pointing
Oh,
at
okay.
you.
I guess it could not hurt. Do not know this, Ranus, but we were told to seek him. Mention
Oh.
his name.
All right. I can take you there first, and there are other shops on the way. There's a very nice apothecary, a very nice blacksmith. I definitely, and she points at you, Yrsimagor, I definitely suggest you go there.
Lead the way.
And she will. She'll get up from her chair and very politely turn it around, push it back in, and start making her way out.
As the group of you leave the tavern or the market district to go shopping, we're going to go ahead and cut to break.
All right. We will be back in about 10 minutes. See you on the other side. And we're back.
And so you leave the tavern behind you. As Toy, as you lead the party up the hill to the market district, where, as you round corners, you lead the party to a certain loud merchant that they seemingly were trying to track down. This man named Aranis. You see him standing, trying his best to wave people down, and he's getting brushed off. He has a small stand next to him. The stand next to him, and beside it is a cage, a kennel that you can see has like bite marks, and kind of it's been quite chewed up a bit. as he spots you, and you're not quite realizing that Toy that you're part of this group. Ah, welcome travelers, esteemed travelers. He waves the three of you down. You step closer and behold the marvel of the golden Ermeline. As he gestures to this creature that's like loafing inside the cage. This golden furred cat badger creature with 8 legs, I believe it has, is just like curled up in almost like a little donut shape inside the cage, trying its best. It has like one eye open, looking at you. Not like a spider, but like longer. It's a long body that's coiled up. Not only does this young beast glitter like gold, but it's a veritable bane to the Technic League's cursed machines. Imagine the power you wield with such a companion by your side. It's not just any creature. It's a living weapon forged by nature itself. Its claws can rend metal as if it were parchment, making short work of any robots and constructs that dare cross your path. Picture the sheer havoc it could wreak upon your enemies. And it stretches out, curls back in. Its ear flicks a little bit as like a mosquito tries to land on it and it swats it away. But the golden Ermeline's fur is as beautiful as it is rare, but its true value, mark my words, is how ferocious it is. Envision it tearing through your foe's innards, circuits, gears, and gore flying. You won't find a more formidable guardian for your treasures. And Aranis accidentally gestures a bit too close to the cage, and it growls at him, and gnashing its teeth a little bit, with a low growl, very displeased by this loud man next to him. Don't be deceived by its size, no. Way more powerful than you can even imagine. This golden Ermeline has been hand-reared by me, myself, yours truly, to be trained to recognize and destroy any mechanical threats. It's loyal, it's fierce, and already knows how to follow commands. Picture it, my friends, at your side, a living testament to your power and your foresight. No.
I think that's when Toy kind of goes up and she crouches next to this cage. As she hears this thing growl, she's like, I agree with you, buddy.
How big is this thing?
He ignores.
How big is this? Are we
It is. So it's hard to tell its size because it's kind of curled up and loafing. But you imagine if you're to unwind it in your mind, so to speak, that it'd probably be the size of a large, not a lot, a medium-sized dog.
Okay.
So definitely would be a small creature. It's bigger than Veris is. Would be small-sized for mechanical reasons.
Wait, I
The
just
Technic
realized.
League fears these creatures for a reason. Go ahead, Jake.
I just realized that you're describing an 8-legged cat, and we've got Veris with us. I'm a little slow like Yrsimagor today. Getting those connections. Feel
The Technic
I feel like
League.
Yrsimagor is smitten with this kitten.
Mm-hmm.
Daeralai's been kind of side-eyeing you this entire time because of the spiel that this guy is giving, just waiting for your Yrsimagor's eyes to go heart-shaped, and just...
Well,
Yeah.
you had me.
Aranis is definitely
trained to
focusing
tear
on you,
robots.
Yrsimagor, with his speech.
You had me at trained to tear robots apart.
The Technic League fears these creatures for a reason. Their machines, so intricate and deadly, crumble before the might of a golden Ermeline. You equip yourself with one, and you'll have the ultimate edge in any confrontation, any conflict with those technological tyrants. As he drives his point home with you. Oh. And consider all the tales you'll spin with the golden Ermeline at your side. It'll protect you from mechanical monstrosities, but it'll also elevate your legend, a fearsome beast for fearsome heroes like yourself. What more could you ask for? Now you, an Ermeline cub, my friend, feed it with metal, gold, and the meat of your enemies.
You say it eats gold?
Yes. Yes, it does. It has a unique diet. It prefers metal just as much as meat. Well, that's how its fur gets so shiny and lustrous, you see. A few gold coins you can feed it as a treat or a snack. That's how I've trained them, at least. Quite expensive they are to rear, I'm afraid.
I will reach into my coin purse and pull out a gold coin. I crouch next to the cage and just go, Do you want a treat?
It growls at you, stepping closer to it, but then its nose sniffs, and it rears its head up, and it looks at you, Toy. No, and comes close and comes to the edge of the kennel, its nose pressing at the thing, and its eyes and ears perk up at the sight and smell of the gold coin that's in your fingertips.
And I'll actually kind of hold it up above it in the cage and then drop it down.
Yeah, you see, as you're holding it up, it stands up on some of its hind legs, lifting up some paws up, and then you drop it, and it flinches a little bit, and it clatters to the ground of the kennel, and then it coils around and eats it like a treat off the ground. And when it looks back up, the coin's gone, and it's chewing and licking at the back of its paw.
I turn and look at the others with I imagine this is probably one of the first times you've seen this. As I turn to look at Veris and Daeralei in particular, you just see Yrsimagor with this big tusky grin. He ate the gold coin. Imagine what he could do to robots.
Imagine what it could do to your companions who might be a little bit smaller and more appetizing than you.
You're not a robot. You got nothing to worry about.
I mean, you did hear the part where he said that it loves metal just as much as it likes meat.
Yes, I heard how much it loves metal.
Just don't wear metal. Veris, just don't wear metal.
How much for your shiny cat?
My friend, 150 gold pieces, and this cub can be yours.
Around this is all fine and dandy. And I'm just kind of looking at Yrsimagor oh no. But we're actually here because Davos sent us your way.
You're friends of Davos? Oh, you are the ones that saved him from the Technic League. 100 gold pieces for this cub, my friends. As long as you promise me you steer this beast towards them.
Daeralei just looks at Yrsimagor.
I think I'll let you carry on any conversation you want to have with this guy if you do. While you see Yrsimagor is going to be crouching down and kind of talking softly to this creature because not Yrsimagor, but Jake is weighing his options here because I have over 100 gold.
Jake, I would like Yrsimagor, please, to make an animal handling check as you crouch down and interact with this
This is
creature.
either going to go well or I'm going to get a new scar. Oh, no. It did not go well. That's a 5.
Yeah, as you crouch down, it like looks expectantly and a bit like what do you call it? Like yeah, just expectantly and a bit like privilegedly and a bit spoiledly looks at your hands, sees there's no gold coins in your fingers, and kind of just gives you the cold shoulder and like rotates and flops down to face away from you.
You just hear Toy,
I'm-
because Toy's right next to you. I think it wants another treat.
I'm looking through what I have. I don't have anything else that's metal except for gold. I keep feeding it gold. You know what? Just because I want to see what's going to happen, I'm going to pull out my hand axe. And
Whoa, friend. Aranis. What are you planning on doing? He says very hesitantly.
I'm going to place the I'm going to place the axe on the side of the bars of the cage and kind of just pry or break or whatever. I'm going to break the head off the axe and hold the axe head out. See if it's interested in the metal as much as it was the gold coin.
It, with its back to you, you can see that his head perks up a little bit at the smell of the iron in the axe head.
I'll kick it through the cage towards it. Sorry, let me
It
rephrase
clatters
that.
on-
I'm not kicking the cat. I'm kicking the head of
Yeah.
the axe through the cage towards
pushing through the kennel. Yeah.
Yeah.
It hears the clang and kind of perks up and like it's like what's happening now as it looks over and it sees like this metal bit in the corner of its cage and it'll coil around and it'll bring its nose close to it to sniff it and paw at it and it feels like the clang and all of a sudden the claws emerge from the paws and it grabs the axe head and you see before your very eyes these claws sink into the metal as if it were like made of like soft sausage or something and like it'll like pull and it'll like just literally slice off a section of the hand axe head and it'll like sniff at it more and then just like pick it up with the side of its mouth and tear at it and you can see that it just shatters and splinters and breaks the iron head with a few swift crunches like and bites it down and eats it up and it'll continue to just like chew at this axe head until it's all gone. It'll leave aside any like wood splinters or any like bits of the shaft that were still like lodged in there somehow. So like there's like a little like bit that's left over, and it completely ignores the wooden section of the axe head.
Yrsimagor is, in my mind, very much like Hagrid right now. Seeing it chew up the axe, I think I just turn and I look at the others, and I look at Daeralei, I look at Veris, and I go, "We need this cat." And I'm going to look at this. What was this guy's name again? Armin? No.
Aramis.
Aramis.
Armin? Where did I get Armin? Aramis. Is he a human or? No, he was a halfling. I'm going to I'm going to stand up and step just inside what is an acceptable distance to stand from somebody, so that he has to look up at me. What do you say? 80 gold.
My friend, this thing is way more valuable than just a mere 80 gold pieces, but 100 for friends I will do.
You just hear Toy in the background. You've been trying to sell this thing for months. I think the very least you can do is 80 gold. I've been trying to sell this thing for months.
That's a fearsome beast. The formidable ally. A guardian and
look,
a symbol of your prowess.
Look at how fearsome this is.
What is your name, my friend?
Fuzzy Donut.
Are you going to let her speak of this magnificent creature as just a fuzzy donut?
I like that. Donut. I will call him Donut. And
You'll take him then.
I think hearing Toy talk and remembering just not a half an hour ago when we met Toy, how she paid off those that were after her. I'm just going to pull out 80 gold and go, here's 80 gold.
He looks at you. Consider her yours, he says, as he opens the kennel, and kind of leans down and goes, all right, come on. And then he gestures to you.
Come here, Donut.
You'll have to get her accustomed to your scent. She'll be a bit feisty with the first few days or so, but as she warms up to you, she'll be the most loyal companion you've ever had. Give her treats, give her gold, give her metal, give her food. She'll fall in love with you, as any loyal beast will.
As he opens up the cage, I removed 81 gold because I had to pay for the gold that I gave it. I'm going to stand in the doorway of the cage and crouch down, and I will hold in front of it. I will hold up a gold coin, and I will say in a way that I know the others, and even Veris has never heard before. You will hear Yrsimagor go, "Come here, Donut. Got treats for you." And I go like this, and just kind of move my finger and thumb, and the one coin separates into 2 gold coins.
It has your attention. Roll me an animal handling with advantage, please.
Advantage, come on. Rolled total of 10.
10 is the bare minimum of what you needed for it to not become like hostile and aggressive with you. It takes the coins from you. It doesn't really like you that much, but it likes that you're a vector of gold for it to eat. And it'll almost like kind of paw at the gold coins in your hand and almost like dangerously getting its like claw tips a bit too close to your skin when it does so. It doesn't even care too much about hurting you to do so. Maybe it'll like give you a little nick that bleeds. But it'll like swat the coins out of your hand and they'll clatter to the ground and it'll like emerge from the kennel a little bit and scoop them up off the ground and eat them and crunch on them and swallow them in just a few bites. But it's like half immersed into the kennel and it like doesn't really want to be out here too much. It seems very hesitant.
You come with me, Donut, and I will ensure you have all the robots you can eat.
Some part of this beast seems a bit more intelligent than just some mere animal, because it seems to like listen to what you're saying, and maybe you're imagining it, but there's a little bit of a smile across its face as you say this to it. And it'll emerge a bit more from the kennel, and it won't give you the time of day. It won't like rub its cheek against you. It keeps its distance from you, but it'll follow for the most part. It stands, Veris, at about your height when it's like standing tall. Like you look at this thing eye to eye in terms of size.
Donut, do not eat Veris. Veris is a friend.
It looks up at you in a demanding look, and it kind of like growls a little bit, not in an aggressive way, just like a little bit halfway between a purr and a growl, as it wants another gold coin.
I'll give it another gold coin. I'm gonna end up paying over 100 gold for this thing anyway.
And it seems happy, and I think from now until wherever you else, then just go and demand more gold from you. It's working you. It's definitely taking advantage of you here for sure. It's training you to give it gold rather than you the other way around.
I have to say, this is a D&D achievement unlocked for me. I'm realizing I don't think I've ever had an animal companion in D&D. I can't recall ever having one. So what better than an 8-legged giant cat when you have a rat folk in your party?
So Jake, I'm not sure how D&D Beyond works with like animal companion stat blocks or whatever, if there's a section for it.
There is.
In the chat, I've linked the stat block for this thing. For the next little bit, it'll be very hesitant to do anything that you command it to, which will require like animal handling checks until it becomes comfortable with you.
Orem Vorax.
Mm-hmm.
Just the regular one. Yep, I can add it as an extra.
Yeah, perfect. This is still a cub. It's on the smaller end. If you happen to be able to keep feeding this thing metal, meat, and gold, it will grow in size to be a fully formed adult Arumvrax and get an improved stat block later on.
You do realize, Yrsimagor, that we are traveling by river for days.
In the couple days it took to get here, how many robots did we encounter?
I'm not worried about encountering robots and being able to beat it. I'm more worried about it journeying with us on the river in a boat.
I'm not worried about it. Donut likes water.
Daeralei just raises an eyebrow. And then turns to Aranis. Is this all you sell?
Yes, of course. This is what I sell. I do have a small collection of custom made by yours truly treats that I've done, smoked meats, and they're depressed into smaller shapes. He like pulls out like a little like tray of what looks like dog treats essentially. But none of these really, these all pale in comparison to gold itself as a way to coax and train your companion. I can give you a pound of these though for a gold piece to help. They're not nearly as appetizing for the creature, though they are much more appetizing than anything it'll find on its own. If you're interested. It's important to have a very mixed diet for this creature, to keep its bones strong and its claws sharp.
I will pay 1 gold for a pound of whatever this is. Pound of meat.
All right, you buy a pound of Rumvarax treats that you can use to supplement gold coins in terms of feeding it, enticing it, and helping condition it.
Even the town was over 100 gold. I'm now looking at 20 gold. At least a handful of them have been eaten, so...
Wow. If this is all you sell, we must be off.
A pleasure doing business with you. If you're satisfied with your creature, which I assure you you will be, please recommend me to your adventuring friends. Show off the prowess of these creatures at dispatching your metallic adversaries. Until then, have a great day and enjoy your stay in the free city of Hajatakados. As he actually like begins packing up his stuff. Like he only had the one kennel. He's gonna start like putting everything in a bag and closing up the kennel and just walking off away from the square.
He's like humming a tune or whistling a tune to himself, very happy.
Mm-hmm. And with that, the market square opens up in terms of anything else you'd like to purchase. I've written a little note here on the screen for you all of what you're able to buy here in Hajatakados. You have access to way more services and stuff than a normal town because this is a very big city. And as such, you have access to buying magic items just straight up. You can buy any uncommon magic item you want for 150 gold. Potions of common, uncommon, or even rarity can all be bought for various prices. Potions of healing are a common item, so they cost 50 gold each. You can buy spell scrolls, and you've bought the golden Ermeline for 80 gold pieces. But now there's no longer an Ermeline for sale. As well as any mundane items you wish to buy, like longbows or javelins or such. So if there's something you want to buy, you can go ahead and do so. And if you wish to sell things, you can do so as well. Selling things at 75% of their value.
I don't know what the value is, but I have 3 red guns that I think we determined were flare guns.
So you are not able to sell any tech here. They refuse to buy it from you.
Well...
That's the one thing that you can't buy or sell here in the Free City.
So piffle spiffle. That's
A
all I have on my
free
percussion.
city unless tech is involved. Wonder. So how much? Let me see. There's no value associated to this because it's custom. I have a +1 Skymetal longsword.
Mm-hmm. So that's a uncommon magic item, but because it's Skymetal, it'll be doubled. So it'll be worth 300. If you want to sell it, that's 300 times 0.75, which is roughly 225 gold pieces you can get for it.
I think Veris would want to buy some healing potions.
I do want to remind us all that we do have it in Daeralei's pouch. We've got those hippo guns, and I've got 4 brown canisters and 4 black canisters, both of which we know there's some sort of healing. I believe the brown is like equivalent of a common healing potion, and the black is a step up from what we realized. So we do have that as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, those cannot be dispersed amongst the party because you have to use the injector with it. So only one person can have it, basically.
Yeah, I believe I've got two guns. The one I
That
found
makes
and then
sense.
the one
Yeah.
I took
Mhm.
off Mayenda.
That makes sense. Yeah. So you can split it like half and half. To have
Mhm.
2 people carry half the doses each.
Oops. Which source are we using? Just D&D Beyond, or were you specific?
D&D Beyond works for me. Yeah.
I think everything's all mixed up. Oh, it does specify legacy. I'm looking for. Somebody else has something they want. What's our gold situation, by the way? Veris, are you able to? Do you have enough to buy some potions?
Yeah, I think Veris has like 100. We all have like 150 gold from the torch thing. I thought so,
I
maybe.
can only assume that's where I got 100 plus gold. I only had 105. I don't remember what I
Yeah.
spent
So
my gold on.
for lighting the torch and saving council member Conir Bane, you got 600 gold as a party, but a quarter of that is with Zaari right now, who is not present. So that's 450 between 3 people. Which, if you had split it up, that's 150 each, which tracks with how much should be on your sheet, I think, if you've spent some of it between then and now.
Okay. Doing a little math here. So we could buy an uncommon magic item for 150 gold. Here's what I would like to do. I would like to sell my Skymetal longsword. For
Okay.
225, you said?
225.
And then I would like to find and purchase a +1 magic longbow if I can, which is listed as uncommon. +1
Yep.
weapon.
That would be 150 gold.
Okay, so that leaves me with a balance of 75. Which is mostly going to go to feed this cat.
As you trade away your sword, like as you draw it, your donut looks very expectant. Like, oh, this looks very delicious. In fact, seems like particularly intrigued by the Skymetal alloy that it's made of, and seems a little bit sad when you just like trade it away for a wooden bow. And it's like lingering where, at the blacksmith, it's like, oh. But it's very sad that you gave up a Skymetal object.
Don't worry, Donut. We'll find you plenty of Skymetal. I'm now thinking of all the Skymetal, the extra Skymetal weapons that were like not taking. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, free cat food, free cat food.
Veris' biggest thing is he wants to find some armor that is going to do a little bit better for him than giving him a AC of 12.
It should not be metal. Just a tip.
Yeah, Veris doesn't need to look any more tasty than he already does to that cat.
So I think studded leather is the best light armor that you can buy. If you want +1 studded leather, that's 150 gold. If you want regular studded leather, that is, I believe, like 30 or something like that. Let me look up studded leather. 45 gold studded leather.
Yeah, is there any chance of getting any kind of like magical?
If you want the armor to be an uncommon magic item,
Yeah,
it'll be 150 gold.
that as much as. Okay.
How much do you need?
How much? Well, that's all Veris would have. But I think it's kind of worth it because he's so.
If you had any armor, like if you're gonna swap it off, you could
Oh,
sell
yeah.
your old armor.
Yeah, he has leather. He's leather.
Leather.
Yeah. So that's minus 10 gold to his 150. So that would put his armor class up to 13? No.
A +1 leather would be 13 plus whatever your dex mod is.
Oh. That's 0.
Okay, so put it up to 13.
So it'd be 13. Okay. Plus, I
Mhm.
have my Cloak of Protection, which puts it up, so that would move it up to
Yep.
14.
Yep.
Which is a lot better than 12. So yeah, he's going to buy that.
Sweet.
Cool. Well, that's all of Veris' money.
I think Daeralei is looking for a particular fancy bag, if it's possible to find such a thing in this place.
Depends on if it's an uncommon magic item or not. Let's see. It is an uncommon magic item. Yep, so bag of holding. 150 gold.
Sweet. Yeah, Daeralai's getting that, and then of course everything that we all just get put in there, because that's fun. Perfect. Easy come, easy go. Remove. Boom.
All right. I have enough gold, Veris. If there was something else you needed to get or wanted to get a potion still.
Same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think just having potions between us would be a good idea.
How much are the potions? They're 50? So I can get one. So I will buy one of the healing potions. So I don't know if you want to hold on to that or...
I figure, yeah, Veris can hang on to them because he's so mobile. And he's
If you-
often not in the fray of things, so he can be like a traveling healer.
If you wanted potions of greater healing instead, which heal double the amount of a healing potion, they'll be 75 gold each. Double the healing for less than double the price.
What do you think, Veris? I can pony up an extra 25 for a greater.
I think it's worth it.
All right. So I will buy the greater, and you can hold on to it. They'll have 20 gold coins to feed my cat.
Yeah, and Veris, I'll give you one of the hypo guns and 2 brown canisters and 2 black ones. So split those.
Quick question. Because I don't remember. Is Donut a boy cat or a girl cat?
She is a female,
Okay.
or Umbrax.
I will take I forgot his name again. Armin. What is his name? The vendor?
Aramis.
Aramis. What? I will take his word for it because I'm not looking to verify. Miko says she needs a fancy collar or a ribbon. How much would that suck, being attacked by a giant 8-legged ferocious cat that's wearing a big pink bow?
It has to have the name tag that says donut.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. That would be beautiful.
Is there any other things that you're wishing to shop for, or?
Well, there's lots we want to shop for, but we're a little light in the gold department these days.
I imagine everyone kind of reconvenes after they, with like shopping bags of items, basically. Like, oh, I got this and that, and here's the potions, and here's a longbow, and you have a longbow in like a little like Home Depot bag or whatever. Yeah.
Definitely have to
little-
pick
a
up
little-
some rations as well, just to top it up.
Mhm. But does anyone need any more time with bookkeeping, with shopping, or are we done? Are we done our shopping?
I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm also good, I believe. Yeah.
Books are balanced. I've got my longbow and rid of my sword. My Aurum from Vorax treats. I was gonna call it donut treats, but that might get confusing. Yeah, I think we're all good.
Mm-hmm. Then I imagine you all like retire for the night, and you're gonna set out once again in the morning.
Yes.
Okay. You retire to the inn after a long evening of shopping and haggling and outfitting yourselves and getting used to having a feline companion in your group. As you retire once more to the Wyvern's Roost, get a few rooms and retire for the evening. You eat and drink whatever you'd wish, and before you know it, you're all settling in for the evening. Is there anything you want to do before morning comes, or shall we fast forward to the next day?
Yep.
Sweet. Next day arrives, and you get your belongings set, ready to go as you return once more to the docks. It's a misty morning as you see some of the dockhands working, pulling in boats and unhauling cargo, even this early, as the sun is still just having risen very recently. As you begin to set up your river boat and continue on your journey, there is a dockhand that kind of catches a glance at you and sees that you're headed, eastward, which bends up northwards. You're headed that way along the river. He glances up at you and apparently gives you a bit of a warning. He eyes your boat and gives a grim shake of his head. He leans in, probably to you, Daeralei. You're thinking of taking that boat into the Grimfins, hmm? Fool's errand if I ever saw one. That swamp don't take kindly to likes of anyone. And what it does to boats is worse.
Pray tell, what does it do to boats?
Oh. He lowers his voice even more. It's the Grimfen beast you gotta worry about. They say it's got a lair up there, big as a house, with eyes that glow in the fog. It lashes out with its many, many arms and tentacles like it's got a mind of hate. It don't care if you're folk or beast. It drags anything into the muck and it'll eat you up like you were bread. You're not the first I've seen. Fire in your eyes, thinking you'll be the ones to get through that place. But don't say you weren't warned if the river coughs back what's left. Yeah. As he gives you a grim warning. And so you continue to get your boat set up. Coaxing Donut onto the river boat is a bit difficult, but can be done with treats and gold pieces alike.
Got a
to get
14
her onto the
animal
boat.
handling check, so I think a little bit of gold, little bit of treats, and that's, I probably don't even notice this warning as all of my attention. I think you just hear, while that's happening, you just hear in the background, "Come on, donut. It's a nice look. Oh, it's comfortable when it rocks. Here," and I place a gold coin in front of it, and then another gold coin on the edge of the boat, and then another gold coin in the boat.
And slowly, it hesitantly comes up, and it'll like reach out its head as far as it can to get the gold coin that's on the boat without actually stepping into the boat. But try as you will, you end up getting Donut reluctantly onto the boat, and it like huddles like underneath one of the seats, just squishes itself into a little nook in the boat, which it gets dangerously close to getting stepped on by someone like coming in and placing your packs down into the back of the riverboat. But nonetheless, you all get set up on your riverboat and sail down the Selin River towards your goal. A few days pass, uneventful and similar to the ones getting here to Patrikios, where you stop on the bank by night, rest, and continue up in the morning. Each day, it gets easier and easier to get Donut to comply with the boat. Donut seems to be a bit more accustomed to you, Yrsimagor, knowing that you are the dispenser of treats. It does not mind your company, and even you'll catch it like rubbing its neck against your leg as a sign of affection, or at least a sign of ownership of you. But soon, on the second day of your travels, you see the landscape change before you. The fog rolls in thicker than usual. You see that the ground itself, it's become more and more overcome with foliage. As your riverboat glides silently through the winding waters of this river, the world itself becomes shrouded in this ghostly veil. You see gnarled roots, twisted branches coming from these increasingly darker and darker waters. These roots, these trees, their silhouettes seem like giant fingers gnarled and entwined like of slumbering giants. And the air thickens around you, the pungent smell of decay and vegetation. The sky is now murky, hangs low, and you can hear distant croaks echoing ominously from the depths of this upcoming swamp. Here and there, you'll see patches of green algae floating across the water's surface, beneath which you know would be treacherous mud that can swallow a man whole if he's not careful. With each passing row stroke to getting into the Grimfens proper here now, this oppressive atmosphere, it weighs on you. You feel like the Grimfen itself is alive and watching you. The boat's wooden hull creaks and groans, echoing with the wind that whistles and whispers through this treacherous domain. Breaks in the water's glassy surface. But nothing. Every sound here seems amplified. The flappings of bug wings overhead, the buzz, the distant rattle and rustle, unseen creatures in the foliage, in the canopy, along the roots. the low, rhythmic beating of your heart in your chest. There is a sense of dread that hangs over this place. You know that you are in the territory of something most foul. You see, as you make your way through the Grimfen, ahead of you is a tree that's been collapsed, knocked over by something of great strength and size. It blocks this section. It blocks one of the many ways you could sail or row, excuse me, through the Grimfen here. But of note, in particular, why this tree caught your attention is the nasty claw marks that have been dug into the rotting bark of this toppled tree, hinting at something massive and ferocious that lives here in the Grimfen. Now, navigating through the Grimfen itself will be no easy feat. In fact, it'll be a challenge, a skill challenge to be specific. But first, before we go into the skill challenge, what is everyone's reactions and what do they do as we are in the Grimfen proper? As you're crouched low and the sound itself seems to carry far much more than it should here in this place.
I think as soon as we've kind of come into this area, Daeralei is remembering the warning that that man gave them back at Hajoth Hakados. And so as soon as we kind of get here and the feeling just kind of overwhelms us, I believe they're just going to like do the action and pack weapon appears in Daeralei's hand. This very black, I guess, rapier made of some strange looking metal is now in their hand. And I'm looking all around, being very, very vigilant, waiting, anticipating something.
I'm picturing that Yrsimagor is actively rowing, but the rowing has become more measured. They're long strokes with the oars, but they're very careful and deliberate. Not the rapid rowing, but sort of trying to almost ease the oars up out of the water and then ease them back in and just sort of pull, trying to make as little noise as possible as this noise is starting to carry.
Yrsimagor, you see across from you, huddled below the one of the seats on this rowboat. Before, like this last previous day of rowing, Donut has been a bit more comfortable, like peering up over and staring at the water as you row along. But here in this place, she's like hiding. She seems on edge. She seems quite nervous and anxious as she's pushed herself into a small little corner underneath one of the seats, hidden. Well, she thinks she's hidden from view at least, but she's plain to you to see. She doesn't look like she's having a good time at all. She seems very, very on edge. Her fur is a bit more puffed out than normal.
I take note, but otherwise continue to row quietly.
with my offhand, like the one not holding the weapon, I think I would like to pet Donut, if you will.
I think that Donut's gotten accustomed enough to you and your presence. Go ahead and make me an animal handling roll to see if you can ease the creature a little bit.
That's a 9.
Unfortunately, Donut doesn't resist your petting, but your petting and your touch seems to do absolutely nothing to help calm or soothe the beast. It seems to be focused and like listening out into the bayou for perilous things.
I think it's partly more soothing for me at this point than it is for poor Donut, but I'm doing it on the assumption that I'm helping Donut, obviously. That I'm comforting her.
I think Toy, out of everyone here, everyone else is being kind of cautious. Toy's not saying anything, but there's like this spark of excitement in her. And where normally when a person hears a noise, they would, kind of tilt their head or look in that direction. It's like she hears something and she's looking in the opposite direction of where a noise would come from. And you can see her kind of nod her head a little bit, and she's looking out, watching, probably pulling a dagger out and flipping it between her fingers.
With that, then we will enter the skill challenge proper. We're going to be going around the virtual table, and you're going to give me a skill check of your choice as you describe how it'll help you navigate through the Grimfen to be and not stumble into the domain, the creature in which this is its domain. We're going to start with you, Yrsimagor. How do you plan on helping the party navigate without any ill consequence through the Grimfen? Or at least, how do you try to?
I think based on just how I described rowing the boat, I would like to use stealth.
Yeah, perfect. Give me a stealth check, please.
And yeah, I think I'm going to use a domain relic to roll with advantage.
Perfect.
So that'll take the bonus away. Those. And let's see. Stealth. Total of 16.
That is one success. As your hands deftly and slowly urge the boat along, the river responds, and you glide smoothly past this cluster of gnarled roots that jut ominously from the depths. The water swirls gently as you breeze through. You can almost hear the soft whispers of the swamp, as if the very spirits of the Grimfen are warning you to proceed with caution. Veris, how do you help the party through the Grimfen?
Yeah, so this whole area feels very magical, very arcane. I imagine and so Veris would like to do an Arcana check if possible, just help with navigation of this kind of otherworldly place. Some things might not seem as they are, so he's going to use his kind of arcane know-how to navigate in this kind of specialized environment. That
Sure,
makes sense.
give me an Arcana check.
Okay. It's an 18.
That is another success. As you see the telltale signs of a massive beast, an otherworldly creature, something that is greater than any beast. You guide, point out areas to avoid your party as you hear resonating croaks echoing from the depths. You feel the vibrating hull of your boat, a reminder that you're intruding on a realm ruled by these monstrous arcane forces. Toy, how do you help the party navigate?
I very much think, being a rogue, she is trying to be aware of her surroundings, watching for things that could potentially stop them in this river. So I would say that she's trying to perceive what's ahead of them physically.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna roll perception.
Mm-hmm.
And can I roll with advantage? Use a domain relic to roll with
Ooh,
advantage.
you can absolutely burn a domain relic to roll with advantage.
Well, that one wasn't any better. So my best was a 14.
14 is not good enough as we inch one step closer to failure. As you scan around, looking out into the mists, in a moment of distraction, one of you accidentally strikes a submerged rock with the oar, sending ripples cascading through the water. You weren't able to point it out in time. The boat shakes, and you notice a thick, tar-like substance pooling around the edges of the water. And the nearby bank here is scored with deep claw marks, remnants of past confrontations. The air grows heavy with anticipation, and a distant croak echoes, sending a clear message that you've drawn attention to your presence. Daeralei, it is your turn.
Daeralei's using all of her knowledge of being in not areas like this, but similar when
Mhm.
below in the Underdark, right? Whatever it's called here. So this area kind of brings some of that back, and I think I'd like to use survival to help Yrsimagor with making a plan, like how we go through, looking at the
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's the best channel, I guess, through. I would like to burn a relic to have this with advantage. Okay, please, 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 please. Oh, I rolled 2 3s on my dice. Like, that was terrible. So, total of 6. So, yay.
Another failure. A sudden jolt as you're looking out into the surroundings, trying to help Yrsimagor navigate. A sudden jolt catches you off guard as the boat strikes a floating patch of debris. The movement sends splashes of murky water into the air, and you glance around to see clusters of swollen, bulbous growths hanging from the trees, each marked with a foul-smelling slime. The silence is then shattered by a series of ominous croaks, reverberating through the water as a massive shape begins to loom beneath the surface, alerting you that you have ventured a bit too close to whatever beast lurks here. Yrsimagor, it is your turn.
That's 2 times that we've trying to be quiet and navigate, that we've basically banged into something, and it sounds like something's aware we're here. I would like to use athletics, as I am going to switch up my rowing. Try to get us out of here quicker.
Okay.
And I'm just going to row. Sorry, roll. Row and roll. I'm not going to roll with advantage. I'm just going to roll. Should have rolled. I got a 9, but I have a +7 athletics, so that's a 16.
16 will not be good enough.
I was afraid you were going to say that.
As you have alerted the beast to your location. You give it a heave, you give it might, you give it more momentum, but the boat careens as you misjudge a turn, as you scrape against the bank. The scrape sends a wave of disturbed water, exposing a nest of broken branches, torn foliage, littered with remnants of half-digested prey, bones and meats, rotting, smeared with foul slime. The air thickens with tension as the unmistakable roar of a giant monster erupts nearby, the water around you starting to swirl ominously, signaling that your time has run out. As we quickly transfer to here. Everyone, please roll for me initiative. Where does my chat go? Here it is. Veris 17. You got the 19? Daeralei got 19. And then we go Yrsimagor. And then Toy. Okay, sweet. Yrsimagor, Donut will act on your turn. And you'll control Donut on your turn. We start things off with Daeralei. You are the first to act as you see bursting from the water.
I think with no hesitation, as soon as that creature breaks through the water, Daeralei, just with her the hand that's not holding the rapier. Oh, cool. Not holding the rapier is going to let out that basically like dark matter burst of magic, and I'm Eldritch blasting.
Okay, roll me that attack roll.
That's a 9 on the first one.
Okay, that's going to be a miss.
And the second one is a nat 20.
And that 20 is a critical hit.
Sweet. How do we do criticals again?
Max damage plus a roll.
Okay.
Instead of doubling the number of dice.
Okay, so max plus roll. 2d10. So. Oh, it's already doing it. Okay, so. Okay, so ignore this roll because I have to just kind of reset my character sheet. And then why didn't it do that? I don't know. Okay, so then sorry. Character sheet's gone wonky. I will roll this the wrong way. Okay, so D10. Add 4 to this roll, so 12. So that'll be 14 plus 12 is 26 points of force. I believe it's force damage.
And as you shoot out your Eldritch Blast, it does some damage, a pitiful amount of damage to this creature, as it now turns to the Froghemoth's turn, as it rears out of the water, its massive tentacles swaying about, its head emerges, its gnashing teeth gnash at you, its long tongue lolls out of its mouth, its eye stalks of 3 strange eyes on its head. That is where we're going to end our session and pick up next session.
Fantastic. I edited Donut's name. Yrsimagor can't spell donut that way. It's D-O-N-U-T. Also, thank you for giving us a Froghemoth to fight. I love Froghemoths. They're one of my favorite D&D monsters. We'll see if that holds up when we resolve this fight.
You are in a boat after all.
Yeah. As I'm realizing I gave up my well, I never really used it anyway very much. My melee weapon, but I've always got these. All right. So, before we head on out of here, I realized when I did the announcements at the top of the game, I forgot to announce something that's happening tomorrow. Tomorrow night, I want to say at 8:30. Is that what we said? Yeah, we said 8:30. If Karen's in the game, I know I started at 8:30. Tomorrow night at 8:30 here on twitch.tv/miniterrain you can witness the return of the Mythos Investigators. We are going to be running the first part of what is intended to be a 3-shot called the Tartarus Intercept. This will be run by Keeper Alex, and the players will be myself, Kaeryn, Carrie, and Dwight. That is scheduled to happen tomorrow night at 8:30 Eastern, barring any unforeseen circumstances. And then more likely than not, we'll continue for the next couple months as a monthly game, as we usually do the Mythos. But I can't believe I forgot to mention that we have a Mythos game coming after it's been several months since we wrapped up the last one. So do tune in for that. And of course, on Thursday, you can tune in for another episode of Welcome to Paradise, Michigan. In the meantime, thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight, and hanging out in the chat, whether you're lurking, you're watching with us on the VOD later, know that we appreciate you and hope you enjoy our presentations. And a huge thank you to, of course, our Game Master Vi, but everybody here joining us, Vi, Kaeryn, Sara, myself, without whom this would just be Vi talking to herself for a couple hours. With that, we're going to go ahead and end the stream the same way we end every stream. You can say it with me if you want.
A Froghemoth.